Yo, what's up guys, AFC Dino here and welcome to a new video. Just like one of the previous videos, we're gonna be commentating on one of our games. I played this game on my phone while I was waiting, so yeah, there's no in-game sound because while I was playing, I was also listening to music on Spotify, so otherwise that sound would have, you would have heard it over the battle music, so decided to just mute the audio, and yeah, we're just gonna put music over it now. So unfortunately you won't hear the battle cries, you won't hear the animation move animations, but yeah, other than that it should still be interesting. This match was also quite difficult. The matchup was really bad and things went horrible for us, but yeah, I won't spoil too much. I'm just gonna play it, guys, and yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy it, guys. I'm gonna hide the camera because otherwise I would be in front of important information. So gonna hide it. See you guys after the video. But yeah, I'm just gonna commentate over it. Let's go over team preview here. So as you can see, I'm just using a team you guys know. We're playing against a Breloom as well, Togekiss, which can definitely be annoying. Yeah, I wrote him into Garchomp, and yeah, so Spadef Skarmory does really well to Garchomp, but Life Orb special attack Garchomp can easily break through Skarmory with 2 fire type attacks. So if that's the set we're facing, we're actually in trouble because then Garchomp becomes such a big threat, because obviously Draco Meteor in that case would do a lot to Slowbro. And then Togekiss, we do have a Jolteon, but if something does happen with the Jolteon, then Togekiss can be a big threat too. And Togekiss is also the only thing that really stops Breloom, unless Garchomp obviously has like Life Orb, Fire Blast, or even Draco Meteor. But yeah, guys, we're just gonna play it now. Lead wise, looking at his team, I felt like Jolteon was probably the safest lead. Just think, because I expect he will most of the times lead with Rotom. I can just baton pass out of anything else. If he goes Garchomp, we can sub first, or we can just go directly into Skarmory. I think that's a better play, because if he leads Garchomp, Garchomp could be Scarf, because Hippowdon is most likely the Stealth Rocker. I assume Rotom is the Defogger. Now yeah, Breloom can be any set, so we'll have to find that out. And he has a Milotic, which could stop my Volcarona, depending on the set, maybe Mirror Color, maybe Haze. But yeah, if I actually get rid of Milotic, I think Volcarona can do a lot with a Quiver Dance up, especially if Garchomp isn't Choice Scarfed. So, but we'll be leading with Jolteon in this matchup, so I'm just gonna skip it ahead. He leads off with the Rotom, and I lead off with Jolteon. And here I just went for the substitute, not considering him being Scarfed, as he does reveal the Choice Scarf and tricks me on my substitute. So turn 1 went horrible for me, because if it wasn't Scarfed, then I could sub, because the only way he could break it is through clicking Hydro Pump. And if he switched into something else, I could have baton passed behind a sub. But now I'm kind of forced to switch. So I go Breloom here, praying that he doesn't have Wisp as well. And he does Volt Switch, because that's a pretty free play, as I'm locked into Substitute. And this can allow him to get in stuff like Togekiss or Garchomp. And the only reason he would bring in the Garchomp is if he has an attack that can kill me, because he doesn't know what kind of Breloom I am. So I'm gonna go into Skarmory, which is supposed to be my counter to this, as he reveals Fire Blast. Yeah, that's the next thing that goes wrong for me, because this is Life Orb. He's definitely specially offensive mixed. So yeah, I just stay in because I don't have a good switch for this Garchomp. And yeah, now that he's taking Life Orb damage, he's closer in range of Jolteon's Hidden Power Rise. So now I had to make some plays, because that was such a big drawback for me. So here I decide to double back into my Breloom, expecting him to switch maybe into Hippowdon, maybe into the Rotom to take the HP ice, because he was most likely naive nature. So minus special defense and hidden power ice would knock him out, and now I have this guy in, and I think I went for sub. I cannot really see what I'm clicking. He goes into Garchomp. I do get the substitute of, and yeah, this here I think I'm just focus punching. There's no reason not to. He doesn't ever resist. Could click Spore too, actually, but I went for the. Maybe I should have just gone for Spore, because even if he went Breloom, I just click Focus Punch on Breloom and Breloom dies. So I think I misplayed there by not going for the Spore. On the other hand, he did decide to stay in, and I just knocked him out. So multiple ways we can, because now I can still click Spore on something else, but now Togekiss comes in. And like I said, I do have a Jolteon, but now that I don't have leftovers, every time he should just be clicking Air Slash. It's free versus me. He gets Nasty Plot up against Tentacruel. And if I go Jolteon, I take Chip, he can switch out, and I cannot repeatedly do it. But yeah, I am still forced to go into the Jolteon, as he actually hard switches and goes into Hippowdon, and expecting my Jolteon perhaps. Not the biggest deal. If he clicked Air Slash, I would have taken more damage. And I think I just Baton Pass here, in case he decides to double for some reason, you know. But he decides to stay in. I'm going directly into Tentacruel. I know I can live an Earthquake. I could have gone into Breloom as well, but I needed to force something, and I felt like maybe if I get up Toxic Spikes, like the Rotom was Choice Scarf, could be deep, but with that does mean that he's lacking a move and maybe doesn't have Rain Split. So I felt like getting up the Toxic Spikes before the Milotic can come in. Having Milotic poisoned over burned is better for me, and poisoning Hippo is also really nice. So I got this off. Now I go into Breloom, and I think I just go. Well, I was thinking about Sporing here, but I wanted to be behind the sub as he reveals Ice Fang to me. So that's really big to know. Yeah, I'm kind of forced to click Spore here. At least I'm sleeping this. This does mean that I cannot poison the Hippowdon when it comes back in, which is kind of unfortunate. But there wasn't much for me to switch into. If I go Slowbro, that's a pretty nasty spot opportunity with Togekiss. And I think I just go for Focus Punch Raw here. I went for Sub. I think Raw Focus Punching would have probably been better there. Preserving HP, because if he stayed, nothing like it doesn't change this situation, but I think I would have had more HP. And here, yeah, it's a bit of a mind game. Am I predicting the rules with Focus Punch, or am I allowing him to kill me? And I felt like Breloom was way too important to lose here on a 50-50, so I decided to switch as he reveals Soft Boil. And because of Soft Boil, I won't do super effective damage because he still keeps his flying type. Here, yeah, it's a bit difficult, but I have to Thunderbolt because I am Choice Scarf and he might just roost on me. Like if I, yeah, he does Soft Boil. If I switch and he clicks Soft Boil, I'm in such a bad position, so I cannot afford to predict him here. But now that he know, because I'm still Choice Scarf, so he knows I'm locked in, so he's probably looking for a play into Volcarona. Into Hippowdon, as he actually goes into the Rotom, which didn't really make much sense to me, but I went for Quiver Dance here. He most likely doesn't have Toxic. He showed Trick and he showed Defog. And here I think I made a misplay by Quiver Dancing again, because I knew Milotic was coming. But I think the play was to Bug Buzz. The reason I Quiver Danced again was because I was actually thinking Milotic might have been Flame Orb, and then being at +2 might have been better for me, but I think it would have been better to Bug Buzz here, and if I got the Spadef drop, I think I would have 2-hit KO'd him, being at +1 max special attack. But now I'm just gonna switch because I don't know what kind of Milotic this is. I don't want my Pokemon to be poisoned. But he showed Haze. And it's usually Recover, Haze, Scald, and it's either Toxic or Ice Beam. So if he doesn't have Ice Beam, I know I can bring him Breloom every time. Yeah, this is kind of where it sucks that I don't have Rocks versus the Togekiss, because Togekiss is a lot of times just a free switch into this. But I doubled into Bro here, maybe checking if he has Ice Beam or something. And he does go into the Togekiss. And I went for, he goes for Nasty Plot. And I went for Future Sight. And here I had to pray that I couldn't afford taking the damage on my Jolteon. So I was teleporting here and praying that he wouldn't flinch me there. And luckily he didn't, so I did get the teleport off, and now I can just click Thunderbolt. Because even if he clicks Soft Boil, he's still gonna take the Future Sight damage. He goes into Hippowdon. Hippowdon is still asleep, and now Hippowdon is going to take the Future Sight damage. And yeah, since I'm Choice Scarf, I was actually thinking about Thunderbolting again here, but I also didn't want him to get free Rocks up if he was most likely there for another sleep turn. So I just want Breloom. And unfortunately, he did make the double, because I was really thinking about clicking Thunderbolt again here. And maybe I should have, being that behind. But from this point on my mind, the only way I could beat him is if I paralyze. That's what's on my what was on my mind. Paralyze the Togekiss. I went hard Jolteon here on his Air Slash, and I was just clicking Thunderbolt there. I was not predicting because he was I knew he was going to click Soft Wheel because I'm Choice Scarf, but this was an opportunity for me to paralyze him. Like, if you're this behind, you gotta play off the numbers. And luckily I got it here, because now the game looks really easy. Because look at Breloom now and look at his team. Togekiss is slower. Milotic gets beaten, Hippowdon gets beaten, and Rotom gets beaten. So here I just Thunderbolt again. Hippowdon is still asleep, and he goes in Breloom, and this actually shows me what kind of Breloom this is. And I get a crit here, but I'm doing this little. So this is a Spadef Breloom, especially defensive Breloom. So yeah, I just go into a Slowbro because he's most likely going to Spore. And if he has Focus Punch or Drain Punch, it doesn't really matter because it's Slowbro. But he does Spore, and yeah, my Slowbro was useless anyway. But now he cannot click Spore on my Volcarona, so I felt like Volcarona is such a free switch versus this. If he does have Stone Edge, it's not likely on a Spadef Breloom, so that's why I was confident switching it in. And he brings in Togekiss, but because he is paralyzed, and even if he wasn't paralyzed, he would still be in range of Volcarona here. I'm just gonna Fairy Dance as he goes Milotic, and because Togekiss is paralyzed again, I don't have to think about him switching back into Togekiss because Breloom is gonna be faster. So I just made the Breloom play, and even if he has Ice Beam, I don't die to the Ice Beam unless the Milotic is offensive. He does make the switch into Togekiss, and here's the thing, guys. I can just click Substitute, because if he clicks Roost, I'm still getting my Focus Punch damage off. And I go first. He can also miss Air Slash, and he can also get paralyzed, and he got paralyzed. Now I'm behind a sub, and at this point it's just GG. Because I just Focus Punch kill everything. Like Breloom, I will kill him. Like, he needs to break my sub first. But both Milotic and Hippowdon are slower. And Rotom has to click Hydro Pump to guarantee break my my Substitute. So versus Rotom, for example, I can just spam Substitute. He either Volt switches into into Breloom then, or he misses Hydro Pump, and then I can get to click Focus Punch. From this point, I knew the game was over. So that one Paralyze just won me the game, because I was supposed to lose this game from the bad start I had, getting Jolty and Joy scarfed, then losing Skyrim because the Guardian was Life Orb. So the matchup was so bad for me. And when shit like that happens, you gotta keep playing. You gotta look for opportunities, and sometimes it's a number game. Sometimes you have to go for that Ice Beam, even though the Thunderbolt does more damage, for example. But you gotta go for the Ice Beam because you need that freeze or something to win. But from this point, Breloom will just sweep his team, especially because if he air slashes me, he's gonna die. If he clicks Salvo, he's gonna take more damage, and he cannot keep that up because I will always be behind the sub. So the only way he can do something is air slashing and break my sub, and then he can still not win because he has to go hard Breloom then. But Slowbro is still asleep. Full Corona can just come in, and every time Milotic comes in, I can just go into Breloom. But yeah, we have Hippowdon was still asleep. But yeah, that's it. He's going to forfeit on this because he also knows there's nothing he can do. That Paralyze just screwed him over so hard, and that's why you also should never give up, because these kind of things, even though they don't happen many times, usually they happen against me. Can really happen. There's no 100% victory in this game. These kind of situations are the reason people don't have 100% win rates. and also winning the 50-50s. For example, if I Thunderbolt again against the Hippowdon, I hit Togekiss, he'll stay low, and then my Breloom becomes a threat, for example. Yeah, we'll just end off the video like this, and let me turn on the cam. Let me turn on the cam. Hold up. There we are. And guys, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this analysis commentary, post commentary. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, guys. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you'd like to see more. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, guys. Join our Discord server. We have a Rate My Team channel in which you can share your team and get feedback from the community. It's really nice, and people usually responding really quickly. And yeah, check out my Patreon if you are interested in some of my PvP teams. I'm planning on recording soon again some live commentary which you guys enjoy the most. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have a wonderful day.